Tarek, you have done it again, constantly raising the bar for us all and doing it flawlessly. I'd say I'm surprised, but I know who you are. I've seen it up close and personal. Tarek, can you make me I love you, and I love you, and I love you.
Hi, MacArthur Foundation Selection Committee. It's Dr. Picksome-Good from the Nominators Board. Okay, when I say the name Tarek Ziad, what do you think? Exactly my point. It's a stunning name. It sounds like he's from the planet Krypton. I've just discovered this young man, and I think he has all the makings of a success. And I think the grant money could really change everything for him. And subsequently, all of us. And he's just so likable. He's 25, unemployed, and it's amazing! I mean, if you consider his artistic and performance pursuits to be his career, then in that way, he is in a constant state of employment to the boss of life. He's constantly auditioning for things through his manager and agents. He just hasn't taken off yet. You know, it's a numbers game and all of that. And it's so hard to play the numbers game when you have a day job. Either it's draining your energy, or it doesn't leave you any time to write, or it's not remote so you can't record your self-tapes, or it's full-time so there's no flexibility when you book something. His unemployment is a gorgeous commitment to the arts. His benefits just ran out, though. So I think it's imperative that we give him the money soon. That way, he can continue to write a ton of poetry without submitting it anywhere, because ultimately some art has to remain pure and untouched by the systems of monetary exchange. Right? Do you think Robert Frost became Robert Frost by submitting to 400 zines a month? No. He also has so many ideas for video pieces. He just hasn't gotten around to them yet. But just like how we all feel about Azealia Banks deep down, I believe he has a plan. He just needs some time and some money. And don't you think it's important for gorgeous, gorgeous girls to have visibility in the industry? It's a visibility thing! So let's make it happen! $800,000 before taxes! $800,000! $800,000! $800,000! $800,000 before taxes! $100,000! $800,000! Thank you all so much for joining me in this little think tank thought bubble circus act of mine. Oh my God. Everybody say, genius!
Genius!
Oh, good. Okay, keep that energy. Oh, I can't believe you all came. And you came, and you came, and oh my God, you came? Wait, you shouldn't have. No, like, you literally shouldn't have. What are you doing here? Security! I'm just kidding. There's no security. I didn't pay to be here. You didn't pay to be here. So how the hell would we pay security? But just imagine all you could pay for with $800,000. Actually, let's do something better than imagine. Let's share. I heard that crowd work is a great way to keep your audience from falling asleep. Something to do with all the fear. Oh my God. Sir, what would you do with $800,000?
Travel.
Yeah, okay. And over here, $800,000, what are you gonna do?
Stock up on insulin.
Right. The diabetes are coming. Over here. $800,000 just falls in your lap one day. What are you gonna do?
In the studio and paid as much as I want.
Yeah, you are. Nice. Oh, really good ideas, everyone. None are as good as what I would do with the money. But I love that you all tried. What would I do with the money? Well, honey, or should I say money, honey, slow down. We've only just begun. Haven't you heard what happened when they put the cart before the horse? That's right, the horse died. and everyone involved went to prison for horse slaughter. But before any of that, we need some exposition, you know? Some yummy, juicy, delicioso info dumping. And it has to be giving like the beginning of the Twilight Zone series, where like some man would just read from a cue card in a very funny voice. One moment. Good evening. Tonight's programming focuses on the MacArthur Fellowship, aka the Genius Grant, aka the Big Baller Club for Successful Creative Baddies. This sexy $800,000 beast of an award goes all the way back to 1970, when the John D. and Catherine T. MacArthur Foundation was created in order to support creative people, effective institutions, and influential networks, building a more just, verdant, and peaceful world. Sidebar. What the fuck is verdant? That is such an obnoxious word for them to use, verdant. It doesn't even sound like a real word. In 1981, they started the MacArthur Fellowship to help fund about 20 to 30 individuals a year, no strings attached, who show exceptional creativity in their work and the prospect for still more in the future, whose creativity can take many forms, including developing innovative solutions to perplexing problems, opening new fields of inquiry, enriching understanding of ourselves and the world we inhabit, and breaking boundaries. Sound familiar? Hello? If you know anything about me, you know I am and have always been all of those things. I love innovative solutions. I open new fields of inquiry for breakfast. Enriching our understanding of ourselves and the world we inhabit. Look where you are. You're in the theater, experiencing an exploratory performance of self. And as for breaking boundaries, well, if you ask the cop who gave me a traffic ticket last month, he would say that Mama embraced a rule follower. I'll tell you that much. So is it not insane that I'm not already rolling in that sweet, sweet MacArthur juice? That my name has not yet been cemented among some of the 20th and 21st century's most iconic do-gooders? Well, there's been a bit of a snag. You see, everybody involved with the selection process is kept anonymous and secret. You can't apply, you can't self-promote, and I'm not famous yet! So they've never even heard of me. It's unjust. It's unjust, and frankly, it's hurtful. Now, I recognize that on the surface, I might appear to, not be exactly the same as some of the past recipients. That when you look at me, you might just see some silly little twink, right? Undeserving of free money because I seem to lack the traditional qualifications and accolades. But let's take a closer look. Genius Jason De Leon works to combine architectural, ethnographic, and forensic evidence to shine a light on the negative effects of American immigration policy. Very important. At age 7, I realized that the red light turns green seconds after the intersecting street's green light turns red. A realization I used to predict the change in light and convince my younger brothers that I was not only psychic, but also sent from God. Kate Orff works to transform cities into sustainable systems that work with the environment as opposed to against it. Iconic, we love a woman in STEM. Similarly, at age 8, after watching too much TLC because traditional children's entertainment was, too lowbrow, I told a heavier girl who was being mean to me to shut up and go get a gastric bypass. She didn't know what I meant because we were 8, but she was very hurt. And finally, Jasmine Ward works to detail the African-American experience in the rural South in her rich and wildly creative prose. We love a wordsmith. Similarly, at age 9, I penned a fake love letter to a girl named Stephanie, pretending to be a boy named Chris, because I knew he had a crush on her and he hated me for being gay. I wrote, Stephanie, you are so beautiful. You make me full of love. When I see you, my heart yells, Yahoo! You're the cutest girl in Campbell Park Elementary. If you were a can of soup, I'd pick you from the pantry. Chris was destroyed! And we had a physical altercation. I won. So, what do all those people have in common, right? They're all geniuses, right? Helping the world around us. They're very obviously geniuses. But why can't I be too, right? I mean, they're certainly not as young, sexy, or fertile as I am. So let's just say we're not actually on an even playing field, right? And yes, for any of you sleuth Googlers out there, I took all those examples from a 2017 Business Insider article. What is your point? My point is that my brain has been braining since a young age. But don't worry, okay? I am reformed. Violence, deception, and verbal abuse are all things of the past for me, as that would be very unbecoming of a MacArthur Fellow. I promise that I only believe in doing good and helping out. I don't know any Genius Grant recipients myself, right? So I can only dream about what it's like to get that call. Just out of nowhere, out of the blue, winning all that money. Because they don't tell you you're being considered unless you've been selected. I've dreamt of it so much, in fact, that I've actually written a little something up. And what is theater for, if not sharing your dreams with a captive, willing audience? What's next? Ooh, over here. I'm gonna give you this, and I'm gonna make a fake little phone ringing noise, okay? I'm gonna say hello, and then when I give you the mic, you say your lines, and then I'll say mine, and we'll just go back and forth like that, okay? Yeah. Perfect, okay. Bring, bring, bring. Hello.
Hi, is this world-renowned actor, writer, comedian, model, artist Tarek Ziad?
Yes, this is he.
Oh my gosh. I love your work.
Oh, thanks, sweetie. Really appreciate that, love.
Anyway, sis, we're calling to let you know that you've been selected as a recipient for the MacArthur Fellowship.
Shut the fuck up, girly pop. No way.
Yes, way. Honey, we love what you do. Your outstanding level of artistry and flawless skin have truly changed the game. The money is yours.
Wait, I slay?
Big slay babes.
Oh my gosh! Okay, period.
You ate.
Okay, well, thanks, sweetie. Ciao, diva, I love you.
Ciao, diva. I love you too.
Hey, I'm starting on the Okay, not too much. I wrote it. He was following directions. Okay. But the point is, before I get that call, I have to be seen as a what? Say it with me now, a genius! Okay? But what is a genius? Let's ask the media.
The pinky and the brain, yes, pinky and the brain. One is a genius.
I'm one of MacArthur Grant. The name's Sherlock Holmes.
Yes, I'm the best in the world.
Gimbal the engine to exert a torque that executes a pitch-over maneuver.
In the form of a MacArthur Grant.
You're stupid.
Is it becoming any clearer? No. Exactly! Right? Now, the MacArthur Foundation has come forward and stated that they don't actually like that we call it the Genius Grant because they disagree with the narrow scope of what a genius seems to be, and they find the recipients to be so much more than intellect. But if they didn't want us to call it that, then they should have named it something better than the MacArthur Fellowship. I'm sorry, but that sounds like something you get after turning in enough box tops at the age of 14, okay? It's just not giving the gravitas that they're clearly trying to convey given the secretive, mysterious selection process and the massive cash prize. You know, listen, poet laureate, Nobel Peace Prize. These are all giving, right? MacArthur Fellowship is not giving. And anybody who wants to say otherwise can ride their broke little high horse right up out of my theater. I don't know if you caught that, but that was a horse idiom to go with the previous horse cart analogy. Ooh, horse idiom, horse literary icon. After much anal lysis or analysis, I have determined that what the societal ideas of genius and dictionary definitions have in common, what the foundation is recognizing, and ultimately what I'm really interested in here is one thing: success, right? They're all successful people with more success in store for them. And that's what the foundation is recognizing, right? The fact that we as a society benefit from their successes. Oh, even just saying it is tantalizing. Success. Success! When I was living in Japan working as a teacher, the Japanese people who ran my program would always end every meeting with, "Now let's make Global English Camp a big success!" They said it like that every time. Big success! It was like it was a proper noun. You know, they started to say it so much that it started to sound like an amusement park attraction or something. And if big success is a roller coaster, then maybe I am tall enough to ride. Now, you might be wondering, well, Tarek, if you want to feel like a success and be recognized for it financially and socially, why don't you just hustle until you make it? Isn't that what people like you from poor, connectionless, and marginalized backgrounds are supposed to do? Hustle? Well, first of all, shut up. What are you, my dramaturge? And second of all, I hate hustling. Okay? Now, don't get me wrong, I'm good at it. Okay, don't get ahead of yourself. You don't know what the next line is going to be. I do, because this is scripted. I'm good at success when I need to be. I'm hustling. Freudian slip. I'm good at hustling when I need to be. You know, I mean, that's how I got here, or however that says. But it's not a cute look on me. When I was in my hustle era, I was ugly. And what good is success if you don't look good wearing it? I look much better in bed with a beautiful set of expensive pajamas on. And the second issue is, I'm not actually sure what it is I should be hustling towards. Ooh. What does being a success really look like for me? For anybody in the arts? Where do I find it? How will I know when I have it? Can you fit it in a box? Post it on Instagram? Is it gluten-free, cruelty-free, and vegan? The girls want to know. Figuring this out seems to be my greatest obstacle to self-actualization as an artist, you know? I'm not really sure what the self should be or where to go to find it. And I know that the self should just be within me, but it's not that simple, oh bruh. You know? But getting something like the Genius Grant must make it really obvious though, right? I mean, elucidate the whole thing like the sky on the 4th of July. If those recipients didn't feel like successes and like they were on the right path before they got it, they certainly did after. Picture this. You're walking through the grocery store. You turn a corner. Suddenly you hear someone say, "Oh my God, is that one of this year's MacArthur Grant recipients?" "Yes, yes, but please, I'm just trying to buy some soup." You're at the movie theater, getting ready to watch Lena Dunham's Polly Pocket after finding Greta Gerwig's Barbie to be too sanitized. And from the back row, you hear someone say, "Oh my God, is that Tarek Ziad, genius?" No, don't look at me, look at the movie. Lily Collins from Emily in Paris is Polly Pocket, the doll with tiny little shoes like candy. You're at your best friend's wedding, and the priest interrupts the vows to say, "By Jesus, is that a genius in the front row?" No, Father, please, this isn't about me, it's about love! For someone like me, you know, a beautiful tortured figure, with the twinkle of mischief in my eye and the spark of creativity in my heart, artist for shorthand. How do you measure your success? You know, I mean, so far I can tell you what success definitely isn't. Just being a smarty pants, you know? That is one thing I definitely agree with the MacArthur oldies on. That intellect alone does not a genius or a success make. And I should know. Because a little known fact about me is that I actually know almost everything. I know the answer to almost every question. Yeah, I'm just like that pseudoscience sci-fi film where Scarlett Johansson unlocks more than 10% of her brain and is able to, like, walk through walls and become computers, and Morgan Freeman is there. I'm just like that. And here, I'll prove it. Raise your hand right now and ask me a question. Any question, and I will give you the correct answer, but do not ask me what success is, okay? I will skip you if you try to skip ahead. You're not gonna gotcha me in my own show, okay? There are no plot holes. Any hole you find, I put there on purpose. My narrative is like a mesh net, okay? It's not about the holes. It's about the little bits in between the holes that capture your attention, okay? Saying my plot has holes is like saying water is wet. That is the point. Okay, get some questions ready. Oh, he's back. Oh, there's a hand all the way in the back. Look at you. I don't know if the cold call in. Okay, here it comes.
Where is the deepest part of the ocean?
Ooh, this is a really good question. The deepest part of the ocean is most notably Mariana's Trench at the very, very bottom. It's also the center of your lover's eyes. Okay, next question. Oh, there's a hand. Here it goes. You can't touch the mic.
Okay. What is the speed of light?
Oh, very good. The speed of light is the speed at which I run down from the stage and back up to the stage. Oh, there it is. Did you see it? Okay, one more question. Yes.
What is the powerhouse of the sun?
Great. The powerhouse of the sun is most notably my ass. See? Now, ask me if I feel like a success. Ask me. Do you feel like a success? Yes! No! I just feel like an encyclopedia. And no one wants to be an encyclopedia. Again, not sexy, yummy, or delicious. If you asked a past version of me what success was, the version who was still in school, he might reply like this. Okay, thank you for asking. When it comes to success, I am an overflowing fountain. As the valedictorian of my graduating class, did you catch that? I graduated with more leadership positions, community service hours, and full-time work hours at my local supermarket than anybody else in a 100-mile radius, to the point where I received so many scholarships that I had to give some back so that other people would have a chance. That's right, I'm generous too. And then when it came to college, despite my parents' highest level of education being high school in Africa, I graduated from Yale University with honors in both my majors, theater and performance studies, and ecology and evolutionary biology. You know what that means? I exist at the intersection of the arts and sciences. That's right, the intersection of the arts and sciences. If you asked the current version of me about all those things, I would say that those are sort of just a bunch of things, you know? That's all just kind of a bunch of stuff. That doesn't really matter to me anymore, you know? I haven't been to the intersection of arts and sciences for like 2 years, since I stopped working at the zoo after they reprimanded me for joking about throwing a kid into the sea lion pool when I was hungover. It's the honest truth. But most of those achievements, you know, were just born out of a really unhealthy, toxic idea of self-worth that was predicated on competition, which I have thankfully grown out of. Mostly. Okay, I'm still pretty competitive, but I was really competitive back then, okay? It was sickening. Everything had to be a competition, and I had to win. It got so bad to where I could be on like the playground, and a little kid might run up to me and be like, "Tag, you're it." And then my inner monologue would hear like really intense music and just be like, "Listen, bitch, you don't want to do this with me. If I'm it, I won't be it for long. And it will be ugly. You think tag is a game? Tag's not just a game. Tag is life or death." I was suspended from elementary school many, many times. But much like how long it's been since I last played tag, find me later if you want to fix that problem. It's been years since since I cared about any of those accomplishments. I think maybe the only achievement I still care about from my time in academia was once in middle school, I told a bunch of boys I had a black belt in karate to get them to not fuck with me, and then they wanted me to prove it. So they encircled me, and I had to square off against one other boy, and somehow, by the grace of God, with my first move, was able to swipe his feet out from under him with one kick to his feet. He went on his ass and everybody freaked out. It was the most marvelous thing in the world because nothing is more impressive to little boys in the ghetto than karate. They do not understand it. Besides that, I recently found my college admissions essay. And the final statements were as such. I now aspire to be a pediatrician and work for Doctors Without Borders, combining my love for medicine and my desire to make people's lives better who are experiencing hardship, just like how I was, albeit in a different way. I will not be satisfied until I have removed obstacles for them in the way that I wish somebody had for me. Well, we're certainly not there. So what is success to an artist, right? Existing in this world of horizontal experiences and innumerable pathways, where it's impossible to know if you're ever actually making any progress, or if you'll ever be able to support yourself financially with your practice, or if any of it will ever really matter to anybody, you know? If the little bookings and gigs that I've, oh, what, let me, if the little bookings and gigs that I've gotten so far haven't done it for me, what will? What will make those MacArthur motherfuckers come call it? Does it have to do with my traumatic upbringing and emotional background? That was my impression of how a French person would say that. But yes, is it the socioeconomic obstacles and cosmic slights that I have overcome and now use in my art practice, right? I mean, that's kind of the impression I get from what gets grants and stages and gallery spaces now, you know? So if pain is what is success and what is a genius, using your pain after overcoming it, well, a past version of me would have an answer for that as well. My artist bio in a program might sound a little something like this. Ooh, a therapist. My insurance actually doesn't cover that. Tarek Ziad is a queer Muslim child of African immigrants from the poor, predominantly black neighborhood of an urban city in the South. But different from the way that many other artists also happen to be queer Muslim children of African immigrants from the poor, predominantly black neighborhoods in urban cities in the South. He is cisgendered and very sorry about that. But is okay using any pronouns and will occasionally refer to himself as the girls. Tarek is the eldest of 4 boys, yet the shortest among them. And the only one who turned out not to be straight. Oh, he has dated a woman once or twice, it seems. There's certainly some sexuality-based repression going on. As at his core, Tarek is a fag. He has been financially independent from his low-income family since age 16, which helped when they ultimately disowned him for being queer, a painful yet vibrant underlying theme in all his work. Tarek is not disabled, but differently abled, in that he has a rare and unique connective tissue disorder. He got genetic testing, and the collagen-producing gene in his body that's mutated isn't correlated with any known condition or understood in its pathology. It's all his own. He experiences joint dislocation, acid reflux, a lazy eye, droopy eyelids, stretchy skin, receding gums, cramping fingers, a sunken sternum, a wiggly trachea, TMJ, strange scarring, little fatty lumps and lipomas in his legs and arms, and a dilated vein in his left testicle! It's called a varicocele. He's also had appendicitis, hepatitis, giardia, pericoronitis, blepharitis, and heart palpitations. He has all that and still looks this good. a large body of water. Tarek has thought about drowning himself, but never done it. And he finds that to be very admirable. Strangers go out of their way to unpromptedly tell him how young he looks, yet he is still brave enough to seek out love and sex and romance like the adult he longs to be seen as. Tarek dated a white person until he couldn't anymore. He has been attacked by a bear, like literally fully underneath the bear, and suffered 2 months of PTSD-induced night terrors as a result. This theme has yet to make an appearance in his work, but is forthcoming. He's brave enough to admit that he starts countless projects only to abandon them before they've even reached partial gestation. His being here today on this stage is a miracle of God.
This really is the world's smallest violin.
Well, now that just can't be it either, right? I mean, I don't like being in pain in my day-to-day. Why the hell would I want to be in pain professionally, right? I mean, it's like I've done the trauma for money thing, okay? I have literally shaken hands with Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas and posed for a photo while he gave me a medal. Because they were also giving me $20,000 and a new laptop. Just for being socioeconomically broken as fuck. But looking back, that was also just more pain and trauma to have to pimp out my life like that. I felt a little bit of success back then, but not anymore. And don't worry, I have deleted all evidence of that photo from the internet. You will never find it. I sometimes imagine my search for success as if it were a hunt. Imagine for a moment that you could just, also just so we're clear, this accent is appreciative, not appropriative of Steve Irwin's culture. Rest in peace, Big Croc Daddy. As I was saying, imagine for a moment that you could just go out and hunt for success. No more applying for grants or boarding yourself up in library cubicles, expending blood, sweat, and tears to help those less fortunate. You know, trial and erroring your creative process while you hemorrhage money, never being sure whether you'll actually amount to anything. Instead, you could just go out and stalk, bait, trap, and claim a sense of fulfillment and all the riches that follow. In the prehistoric age, hunter-gatherers did what they had to do to survive, taking on megafauna and all. Well, this is the definition of survival in the age of the ego. Securing your identity as somebody whose shit matters. Are you ready for the hunt? Alright, a little bit about today's beast. The process of receiving a genius grant involves 4 separate groups of people. The nominators, the evaluators, the senior staff, and the selection committee. So the first thing that we have to do is attract a nominator, whoever that might be. Now the nominators are someone... Fuck! Hi, no, I'm sorry, I was something like that. Look, I'm in the middle of something right now. Oh. Wow. You got the return offer? Okay. That's like how much money? It's $130,000. He's 22. That's gonna be $130,000. Me? No, I mean, I don't know about performance, but no, they didn't pay. That's not why it's fine. No, I didn't pay. It's a workshop, a passion project. Anyway, I thought you had my number blocked. I have to go. I'm gonna call you. I'm not gonna call you back. But tell him congrats. Thanks for telling me the news. Okay, goodbye. Okay, it's a little silly. Okay, obviously I can't hunt down success, you know? I can't trap the nominators and get them to me. That would be illegal, and it would result in me being prosecuted to the full extent of the law. So if you can't hunt your way to success, what do? Fuck your way to success? Do you fuck your way to success? I mean, it's an interesting thought, you know? I mean, it's something I'm not above. I mean, I've certainly, you know, toyed with the idea, towed some lines in my conversations with rich, older men in the media, arts, and entertainment. I mean, heck, if I don't know what success as a young artist is, maybe I could learn something from the loins and lives of my seniors, right? I mean, I'm very sexy, and I have a sort of timeless youth about me. You know, that's what my manager always says. You have a timeless youth about you. Right? So, you expect me to just ignore that while living in the big New York shitty? Gosh, thanks so much for picking this place. I've never been anywhere in space before. Oh, what? You know the owners? Wow. And you come here all the time. Wow. You know, I feel like I haven't gone anywhere all the time. I don't know anybody who wants anything. But I guess that's just a product of my youth. What did you say that you do again? Right. Executive producer. Totally. I could have guessed. You know, I'm not even really sure what an executive producer does. Like, what do you mean? Oh, totally. You just make money happen. Totally. You just make money do. That makes sense. I could have guessed that. I'm so stupid. I'm sorry. You know what I lack in intelligence, I promise I make up for in charm. And my massive cock. Oh my god, my massive crock pot. I have this really big crock pot, and I make these stews that everyone loves. Oh my god, everybody loves my stews that I make in my crock pot. Speaking of making, I have this script that I was wondering if I could talk to. I hate work. Work is not appropriate talk for dinner. You're so right. Stupid, I'm sorry, I'll never bring up work again. Do you mind if I go to the bathroom? And so I've gone on the dates with the old man, okay? I've done the dance, I've whistled the notes, I've stepped in time. But the best it's gotten me has been like free dinner, a couple $100, you know, a trip to the East Hamptons, a rental car to get to my residency in Vermont, you know? Like nothing that's real, not a real opportunity in sight. Well, actually, besides this book I'm currently working on an insane drug-induced death scandal that I became privy to in the East Hamptons, but that is actually a story for another day. And a publisher. If any of you guys know a publisher, this book is really good. I just need an incentive to write it. But so, you know, regardless of whether it's my fault for having too slick of a mouth or my inability to put up with bullshit, I have failed to glean the path to artistic success by popping pussy. Like, it just hasn't happened for me. So if I can't fuck my way to success, and I can't hunt down success, you know, and my massive intellect hasn't been able to do it, and all the little achievements that I've made so far haven't done it, and all the pain that I've overcome, and now used in my art have not been enough, then what is, right? I mean, if I could just get the gram for my fat ass and stunning personality, you know, that would be awesome, right? I mean, sure, maybe it would feel empty because maybe I didn't earn it, but that sounds like something for someone with more money and security than me to unpack, you know? It's like, what would you rather have? Nothing you earned or a bunch that you didn't? Exactly, right? And just so we're clear, I don't go to the gym. So this ass is natural, but the personality was a lot of hard work. Yes, the crowd. But so, what is it that makes these people worthy of $800,000? You know? It almost is starting to seem impossible. Well, here's the thing. In a previous version of this show, this is where things would sort of start to break down, right? Sort of, in a way, triggered by that earlier unscripted phone call by my mom, informing me of my younger brother's newfound riches, which is a real thing that did happen once, to be fair. But as a result of that, I would kind of just be like, wait, can we back up for a minute? I am failing to move on from something. And then, in a sort of deconstruction of the form, the truth behind my comedy would start to come out, right? The pain. Right? And then sort of like Nanette or any other person with a funny bone and a tortured soul, I would start to get really angry, and I'd start to fume, and I'd sort of spiral in frustration, because I would reveal to you all that I haven't had time to figure out what success or fulfillment in my art looks like, because I've been too busy trying to survive financially. And therein would lie the ironic gag to my yearning for the Genius Grant. The fact that most people who get it actually don't even need the money anymore. Because while your work has to be at a certain level to get the cash, you usually first need cash to get your work to that level. And so by the time that these people get the money, they usually just end up buying a second babysitter or a new garage, And who does that help? And in that previous version of the show, this catch-22 would make me so angry. And after lulling you all into a false sense of security using all of my little jokes and my beautiful personality, I would shock you. And then I'd be fuming and angry, and it would all be so emotional. And regardless of whether I was keeping a secret from you the entire show, or if I suddenly discovered this right here in the moment, shout out to your suspension of disbelief. Because again, this is all scripted. I would sort of spring the true nature of my narrative onto you, and you would be caught in that mesh net that I mentioned. And then you would become my prey, and I would have won. And then that would be success! I even had this really chaotic looking video plan that was gonna highlight the spiral. Here, play the video, please.
What the
fuck is that? What is that? Turn that off. No more. Turn it off, please. Okay? It wasn't until I was memorizing my lines and actually felt so much cringe at the thought of reciting them to you that I realized that actually cannot be it. Right? Because in a way, me ranting to you guys super emotionally about how I've tried to build financial security, and I've tried to make the work for the sake of the work and not other people, and I've tried to cultivate sufficient levels of success and validation from within, but it's just so hard because I don't have any nepotism, and I'm exhausted by the world. All of that would have just been feeding into the idea that the true value and intrigue in art and theater lies in the pain, right? Regardless of how true it is, we decided that wasn't it. That's not what we're doing, right? I realized that I actually just felt like I needed some sort of kicker for the end of the show to kind of make it all click and to sort of be like a gotcha in the way that is really popular in theater right now. It's sort of like gotcha. It's, oh, you thought you were safe, I gotcha! I needed that. In my desire to sort of set this apart from a traditional comedy or stand-up show, I felt like I needed some sort of complication. Because while I may be many things, I am not a stand-up comedian anymore. Those people freak me the fuck out. They're so fucked up. And so I felt like I needed to complicate things. But I again went astray, right? There was no success there. It felt unfulfilling and fake. So instead, let's complicate the complication. Okay, big reveal. All right, imagine a world where nobody gave a fuck about the MacArthur Genius Grant. Now, I know that some of you maybe had never heard of it before this show, so that's not what I mean. What I mean is that the idea of it and things like it were defunct, right? Nobody needed them, nobody cared about them. Your level of success in the arts or in the sciences or anything was completely detached from the idea of money. Money did not matter, that was not related to success anymore. How do we get there? Well, with one simple thing. It's a classic, and it might even be cheesy for me to say, but, you know, with the risk of sounding preachy, I'm going to go there. Can you guess what it is? This is sort of like, it's sort of like in the Pokemon show where they go to commercial break, and then they just be like, who's that Pokemon? It's Universal Basic you say you. When I point at you guys, you say we. And when I point over here, there's not as many of you, but you're gonna have to say I. Ready? Okay.
You, V, I, V, I, you, V,
Oh my gosh. UBI. Because yes, you know, then nobody would give a fuck about the Genius Grant. Because nobody needs $800,000. Of course I'd like $800,000, but I don't need it. I mean, I've been fine off less than 25K some years, to be honest. So like 40K, you know? A slick government subsidized 40K, ooh, that would be good. 40K and all would be Gucci on the Western Front, you know? It would be so nice. Because ultimately, yeah, it is hard to be an artist while having a day job, okay? The only way I was able to write and make this show was by creating my own 3-month-long residency known as unemployment. But rather than flail around over that and sort of be so emotional and scary and jarring, why not celebrate the good in it, right? Why not be generative? You know, because all of the different jobs that I have paid my bills with over the last couple of years have been literally iconic. And while yes, I would have traded them for an easier life, they make me fascinating as fuck. I mean, I've been a barista in a mobile truck. I was the creative producer for a hospital in Virginia. I was the data entry specialist for the International Federation of Accountants. IFAC. I did social media and copywriting for a skincare brand. I was a culture forecaster for a global business magazine. I worked at the zoo as a children's educator. I was the personal assistant to TV and film writers. You know, I was a teacher, a substitute teacher in Manhattan. I taught English to little kids in China. I was a sales assistant for a luxury fashion company. I can't even afford that shit, yet I was selling it! Ooh.
The power that has, the intelligence that has, the clearness that has, the influence that has, the profile that has, the international implications that has.
The international implications that has. Oh! And it's like, you guys are generous. You guys are generous. It's like, ultimately, you know, maybe it's anticlimactic or anticlimactic. I've had an ongoing argument with, anyway. Never mind. Stick to the script. Whether or not it's climactic, I'm still not really sure what success in the arts is supposed to be, besides supporting yourself financially with your practice. But like, that's again, kind of a chicken or the egg thing, right? What comes first? I mean, is success to a starving artist really supposed to be just not starving anymore? There has to be something else, right? So what is it? Undeniable integrity? Public salience as a creative? Right? I mean, they're always telling you that you shouldn't define your self-worth or like your art practice by how much people like or dislike you. Because then your sense of self will like ebb and flow like the ocean. But just like Ashford and Simpson, you're supposed to want to be solid as a rock. But can you really uncouple selflessness and self-obsession in art? And more importantly, do you even have to? I mean, can you really be an artist without being a little bit of an attention-starved weirdo? You know? I mean, there's always going to be something inherently vain to the impulse to be like, oh, look at this thing I made. Look at this thing I made. Looky, look at this thing I made. But maybe that's okay, right? I mean, humans are empathetic creatures. We're always talking about the importance of empathy, you know? So you want me to consider what other people think, feel, and their opinions, but not give in to the desire to be defined by them at all? Sure. I guess the real pulse of the show, ultimately, is that despite being 25, I'm just a little antsy to figure out where I'm going and whether or not I'll be broke when I get there. But maybe that's what's exciting about it, right? I mean, maybe that's the joie de vivre, right? Because ultimately, yeah, our nation fails to support artists or people who are crazy enough to try to be artists until they're already too big to not need the support. So you might as well just be stupid on the way, right? I mean, not to get sappy, but sap warning. I'm doing the best that I can in many ways, you know? Because I know that I'm passionate about what's happening. I know that there's a passion here, and that ultimately it can mean something to someone, maybe. It's just that there are all these conflating variables and the financial demands that sometimes make it hard to see the path, you know? But ultimately, whether the MacArthur motherfuckers know or not, I will know. And so until then, not to be vulnerable on stage, but do you guys think I'm funny? Okay, one more. Did you have a good time? Yeah! Okay, one more. Will you remember this tomorrow? Yeah! Okay, well, to me, for now, that feels like big success!